Hello lovelies, welcome to my YouTube channel and to another interesting online tutorial on how to make this beautiful Zara cap design. Now if you are just joining us for the first time, you are welcome. Please do me well by subscribing to this channel and also do well to click on the bell icon as it will keep you notified whenever we upload new tutorials. To all my old subscribers, thank you so much for the support. I see you all and I love you all. Now in today's tutorial, materials needed include your raw silk fabric, your foam, small size crinoline, measuring tape, scissors, matching color of thread and needle, as well as gum and any accessory of your choice for embellishment. For this tutorial, we are working on a Zara cap design. We'll be using raw silk and you can make use of 1 yard of fabric for it. The Zara cap design has the band which has the marco. It has a padded design on it. You can use your foam or fiber for it, and then at the back there's this ruffle like design made with crinoline, and that's what makes up this design. Now for my fabric, that is the fabric for the Zara cap itself. I have my fabric here. I'm making use of 23 inches for the head circumference by 16 inches for the width, 23 by 16 inches. Then for the marco, the measurement is 3 inches for the width by 18 for the length, 3 by 18 inches. For the padded design, I have 6 inches by 26 inches. 26 inches for the length, which is on the stretchy part of the fabric, by 6 inches for the width. We are going to be padding this, and for the padding, I'll be making use of foam, of which you can make use of fiber in place of it. Now, like I will always say, to get the measurement for your foam, let's first sew your fabric. After sewing your fabric, you turn it inside out, then get the measurement for the width of the fabric so that it can help you determine the measurement for your foam or fiber. So I have 2.5 inches for the width, and then the length is 23 inches, 2.5 by 23 inches. Then for the design at the back, this is the full length of my fabric, which is anywhere between 57 and 60 inches, and then the width is 15 inches, 15 by 60 inches. So this is what I'll be using to create the design at the back. In addition to that, I have my crinoline. This is the small size of crinoline, and this is about 3 inches for the width. This is the hard crinoline because there is also a softer crinoline. Now, having known all that, let's start with the tutorial properly. Now for the padded fabric, the fabric that is going to be having my foam, I'll get my fabric, fold it into 2 equal halves. The fine side should be inside while the wrong side should be outside. I will then place this on my sewing machine and sew it down from one end to the other end. Then I'll turn my fabric inside out. For the fabric we are going to be using to create the ruffles that has the crinoline, this is it. We are repeating the same thing here. I'll fold my fabric into 2, fine side inside, wrong side outside. I will go ahead to sew it down from one end down to the other end. After sewing it, I will go ahead to turn my fabric inside out. That is for the design at the back. Now for our Zara cap, I will get my fabric, fold it into 2 equal halves so as to enable me to locate the middle of my fabric. Then you can either make a notch or mark the midpoint using your chalk. So I'll open up my fabric, and I have the wrong side of the fabric facing me. Thereafter, I will get my marco. I'll fold it into 2 equal halves to enable me get the midpoint, and I'll go ahead to mark it. As soon as that is done, I'll place on the wrong side of my fabric, and then I will fold this down. Okay, I'll fold in the fraying edge and fold it down. So I can now take this down to my sewing machine and I will stitch down this free end. Okay, I'll fold it in and stitch it down from one end to the other, and after which I'll get back for us to continue. Right here I have my cap sewn. This is one side, this is the other side. Now if you look carefully at the top of the fine side, you see the sewing stitches here, and I don't want that. So the next thing I'll be doing is I'll be putting my fabric inside so that this sewn part can come, and then it will be sitting, can come to this middle part of the marco here and be sitting here. So just start putting it in gradually. So this is my fabric now. As you can see, if you look carefully at this uppermost part, the sewn part is no longer there because it has gone inwards. So I'll just set this aside. I'll position it this way and set it aside. Then I'll get the fabric for the padded design. This is it. I've that is, I folded it into two. I had it sewn from one end to the other end, and then I turned it inside out. I also have my my foam. In place of foam, you can use fiber. This is 1 inch size of foam, and I said it's 2.5 inches for the width. So after sewing, you take the measurement for your width, and then I'll go ahead to pass this inside my fabric. And as soon as I'm done passing it in, I'll get back. At this point, I have my fabric here with my foam inserted in it, and the foam did not get to the edge, so you have to make sure that the foam is a bit smaller than the fabric itself. So if your fabric is about 26 inches for the length, your foam should be about 23 inches. So that is it for that. Then I will get my Zara cap. Okay, this is it. I'll place it down this way. Then I'll be placing this my padded fabric on it. Now you decide how or where you want it to be. You want it to be at the middle? Do you want it to come lower, or do you want it to go upwards? However you want it to be, that is up to you. So after placing it on my marco, I'm going to fold it this way. Then I will get my pin to help me pin it down to the fabric. The reason why I have to fold it this way is so that I can get the perfect fitting for it. The truth is that if I should place it flat this way, this particular foam or padded fabric is going to end up being smaller than the marco. If I should just place it flat this way and then go ahead to stitch, it's going to come out smaller. Now in the recent, this particular padding material is supposed to be a bit bigger than the marco, so that after folding it and sewing it, it can now sit properly on it without any issues. That is why I will recommend that you fold it to get that round shape, and then you pin it down. So this is how it's looking like. Now as soon as we are done placing the padded material on our marco, I'm going to go ahead to now fold this into two equal halves. Let me bring this out. Fold it into two equal halves, and then let me flip it over this way so that I can now proceed to take this down to my sewing machine, and I will stitch this down to this end and from here to this very end, and after which I'll get back. So right here I have my Zara cap already sewn, and this is how it's looking like. The next we'll be doing is that I'll be making running stitches. I have my thread here. The running stitch is going to come immediately after the band down to this edge. At this point, I have my Zara cap here. I'm done making my running stitch. So let me flip this over to the fine side and adjust it properly. So this is the back view. This is the front with the padded design. You can also apply your comb here and then glue this down permanently so that it doesn't move about. Can also style it however and wherever you want to if it's not glued down. The next one we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on the design at the back. for that I have my fabric here. It's 15 inches by the full length of the fabric. I've sewn it, I've turned my fabric inside out, and I have it this way. Now if you look at my fabric carefully, there's a marked line on it. So your fabric has two parts. This is the sewn part, then this is the folded edge, and I have this marked line on it. Remember, we're going to be inserting crinoline inside this fabric to give it that standing effect for the ruffles design. So the size of crinoline, the width of the crinoline I'm going to be working with is 3 inches. So what I did was to get my fabric and my measuring tape, and on one side of the fabric, this is the folded end, I measured out 3 inches. Okay, so I measured out 3 inches from one end to the other end, and I marked it out. So you have this line all the way to the end. So the next thing I'll be doing now is that I will take this down to my sewing machine, and I will stitch this marked line, okay, from this end down to the other end. Thereafter, I'll go ahead to insert my crinoline inside my fabric. So this is the crinoline that I'm working with. It is the strong crinoline. It is 3 inches for the width. So after sewing one side of my fabric, which I measured out to be 3 inches, I'll just come this way, get my crinoline, and start passing it inside. So I have my fabric right here. I've sewn it down, and if you look carefully, you'll see that I've inserted my crinoline inside of it. Please endeavor to iron your fabric so as to straighten it out. Now after inserting my crinoline, I had to stitch it down at the edge so that the crinoline stays in place and doesn't move about. So I'm going to now cut off this excess crinoline that I'm having here. So that is it for that. Next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be creating running stitch at this other end where there is no crinoline. So I'll get my needle and thread, and then starting from this point here, I'll just start passing my needle and thread in and out until I get to the other end. So I'll keep going following the same pattern. So this is it. I'll do this until I get to this other end, and I'll come back for us to continue. So I've almost gotten to the end again, and I'll repeat the same thing I did when I started earlier. So this is it, and then I'm going to gather my fabric, arrange it in place properly, and then tack it down together. Thereafter, I will get my Zara cap, which I've already sewn before now, and I'm going to be tacking this at the back of the Zara cap this way, making use of my needle and thread. So right here I have my design. I have my Zara cap. I'm just going to place it at the back this way. I still have my needle and thread coming out from the design, so just place however you want it to be. This part with the crinoline should come upwards very well. So this is it now. I'll get my needle and thread, and I'll start passing it in and out. So I'll be taking it this way, inside the Zara cap, outside to the design, just like that, till I'm sure that it is firmly tacked down to the cap. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So this is it. As soon as you are done tacking it and you are sure that it has been tacked firmly to the cap, we are going to come over to embellishment. You can use any accessory, any applique that you have available for embellishment. All you have to do is get it, apply your gum at the back, and glue it down on it, just like this. and that is all that there is to it. So I'll finish this up and then place this on my dummy head to show us the final. So this is the finished work of our design. I hope you got value from today's tutorial. This is so simple and lovely. Now if you haven't subscribed, please show me love and hit that subscribe button now. Do well to like, share and leave a comment in the comment section of this video. Also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. We are there as Jenie Concept. Meanwhile, see you in our next tutorial. Bye.